Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the LWN Network for Headline Hits this Monday morning. It is May 19th, 2025. I hope you've all had a fantastic weekend. However, it was a sure busy weekend when it comes to the news. I was also watching the presser this morning before I went on. More information came from that. It is getting crazy out there. A lot of things that I think that we were made fun of for thinking are actually coming through. Cash Patel, Dan Bongino did appear on Sunday Futures with Maria, and they had a lot to put out there as well. And like I said, it's going to be a busy news morning this morning. It's going to be a little bit longer. Now, with Headline Hits, I don't go into super detail and discuss it. I basically give you the information to process. But the good news is tomorrow evening, LW and myself are going to do a show, and we are going to cover all of this stuff that has been popping in great detail because there's been just so much happening. So I'm going to give you the headlines this morning. I'll give you headlines tomorrow in the morning at noon Eastern Standard Time. Then LW and myself will be back tomorrow evening to do a show for you guys. And like I said, cover all this craziness and madness and overwhelmingness in the beautiful detail that it so deserves. So I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to play this short little intro, and then I'll see you guys on the other side, and we'll get headed into our headline hits for our Monday. So first up this morning, we do have that famous now video that has gone viral all across the internet that Trump did post. It was a video compilation of mysterious deaths and suicides linked to Hillary Clinton. Trump did post that video titled "The Video Hillary Clinton Does Not Want You to See," that documented just some of the mysterious unalivings linked to the Clinton family. So the video did touch on the deaths of John F. Kennedy Jr., DNC staffer Seth Rich, Clinton White House counsel Vince Foster, Clinton White House intern Mary Mahoney, and others connected to the Clintons. In July of 1999, Hillary Clinton's Senate rival and frontrunner for New York Senate seat, John F. Kennedy Jr., passed away in a plane crash. Mary Mahoney was a Clinton House intern who could have been a star witness at the Clinton impeachment trials. She was unalived at a DC Starbucks in July of 1997. Then in July of 1993, White House counsel Vince Foster was found dead of an apparent suicide in Fort Marcy Park off the George Washington Parkway in Virginia. In 1998, James McDougal, a key witness for the White House prosecutors and financial partners with Bill and Hillary Clinton that led to the Whitewater scandals, passed away of cardiac arrest at the Federal Correction Facility in Fort Worth, Texas, just before he was supposed to testify. In 2015, Clinton White House Executive Chief Walter Scheib died of an accidental drowning after he went on a hike on a trail in New Mexico. His body was found submerged in a mountain drainage flowing with surface runoff. Then in July 2016, DNC staffer Seth Rich was shot and unalived in D.C. while he was walking home from a bar. It's believed that Seth Rich was the source of Hillary Clinton's DNC leaked emails published by WikiLeaks. Remember that? The Clinton DNC emails published by WikiLeaks greatly damaged Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign. Then in August of 2016, Sean Lucas, a Bernie Sanders supporter who was sued the DNC for the rigging of the primary in favor of Hillary Clinton, was found unalived in his home. So Trump then reposted a post from someone else on his Truth Social page, not only this video, but a picture of the President Trump, sitting next to Obama in the Oval Office and in front of the fireplace. And on the caption on the photo that Trump did publish, it said, "All roads lead to Obama. Retruth if you want public military tribunals." So why do you think he posted these? These are two really unbelievable videos and pictures and things said from a president of the United States. And he's not going to do this just for no reason. There is a reason behind it. So he has been in the process of calling people out. And while he's been in the process of that, he's also included Kamala Harris and said, how much did she pay Bruce Springsteen for his poor performance during her campaign for president? Why did he accept that money if he's such a fan of hers? Isn't that a major and illegal campaign contribution? What about Beyonce and how much went to Oprah and Bono? He goes, I'm going to call for a major investigation into this matter. Candidates aren't allowed to pay for endorsements, which is what Kamala did under the guise of paying for entertainment. In addition, this was very expensive, desperate effort to artificially build up her sparse crowds. It is not legal for these unpatriotic entertainers. This was corrupt in an unlawful way to thank you for your attention in this, he says, unlawful and corrupt. And then President Trump ended with, thank you for this attention in this matter. Adding to that post this morning, he says, news reports say Beyonce was paid $11 million to walk onto stage and quickly endorse Kamala and then walk off to loud booing for never having performed not even one song. I do remember that. I wonder if you guys remember it as well. Remember also, he said, the Democrats and Kamala illegally paid her millions of dollars for doing nothing other than giving Kamala a full-throated endorsement. He said this is an illegal election scam at the highest level. It is an illegal campaign contribution. Bruce Springsteen, Oprah, Bono, and perhaps many others have a lot of explaining to do. So like I said, he did announce he has called for a major investigation into all these matters of the possible paid endorsements from Kamala and others to celebrities to help her campaign. So he was busy. As soon as he got back from the Middle East, he was doing all these wonderful, good trade deals. He comes back to the U.S. and boom, 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 he's going after and calling all these people out. Next up, we have Biden, a damning video released this weekend showing Joe Biden trying to answer questions, but appearing lost, forgetful, and incoherent at times. Now, this is a 4-minute audio of special counsel Robert Hur's 2023 interview with Joe Biden. It was released on Friday evening. The whole video is actually out there that you can access as well. But in late 2023, Joe Biden spent 2 days with special counsel Robert Hur about his handling of stolen classified documents. Now, Robert Hur found that Joe Biden willfully retained classified information. However, he decided not to charge him. Hur said there is evidence Biden retained classified notebooks knowing he was not allowed to do so. So the Justice Department defended not bringing charges against Biden because he's a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. The portion of the audio release showed Biden repeatedly struggling to remember names and dates. Biden couldn't remember when Trump got elected, and he didn't know the year his son, Beau, passed away. Joe Biden's lawyers acted as his caretakers and came to the rescue numerous times as the prosecutor did grill him. Then early Saturday morning, Axios released the full audio of day one of the Biden-Hur interview on stolen classified documents. Biden's labored breathing, long silences occurred as he struggled to recall details, and that did cause alarm. And you know what? This also leads to what appears to be more of a cover-up of the Biden decline that some Dems have claimed they did not see. It also puts into more question the auto pen signings during the Biden term. Who's signing these things? The ones Biden may have signed, did he even know what he was signing? With President Trump also posting this, whoever had control of the auto pen is looking to be a bigger and bigger scandal by the moment. It's a major part of real crime that the presidential election of 2020 was rigged and stolen. Millions and millions of people knew that, but the radical left Democrats waged a campaign of inoculation and innocence like none that had ever been waged before. This is why the unselect committee of political thugs who were given a full and complete pardon by the person who wielded the now illegally used auto pen deleted and destroyed all evidence and information from their corrupt and vicious witch hunt against me and many other people whose lives were completely shattered and destroyed by this historically criminal event. Remember, it all began with the dirty cop James Comey, Obama, a hapless and congenitively impaired sleepy Joe Biden, and now the very famous accusation they spied on my campaign. Whoever had control of the auto pen is just the beginning. The biggest crime of all is this 2020 presidential election was rigged. MAGA won the election by millions of votes, and everyone knows it. God bless America, for the fight has just begun. So all this is going on is all weekend long as Trump got back from the Middle East. And then, of course, we know breaking Sunday evening, Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that has spread, unfortunately, to his bones. The advanced prostate cancer diagnosis broke after a routine exam last week, finding a prostate nodule. Biden now faces a tough battle ahead, and his family's consulting physicians to explore treatment options. The cancer, even though a more aggressive form, appears to be hormone sensitive, the doctors say, which does allow for effective management. President Trump and Melania did put out a statement stating, Melania and I are saddened to hear about Joe Biden's recent medical diagnosis. We extend our warmest and best wishes to Jill and the family, and we wish Joe Biden a fast and successful recovery. And then Joe Biden also released a statement regarding his diagnosis, and he said, cancer touches all of us, like so many of you, and Jill and I have learned that we are the strongest in broken places. Thank you for lifting us up with love and support. So it comes out this weekend early that there's this tape that shows Biden's definite decline, unfortunately, that was hidden and put away. And then after that, now it comes out that he has this, unfortunately, cancer diagnosis as well. So a lot happening with the Biden family. Next up, we have Trump did slam SCOTUS for ruling on the Alien Enemies Act. You guys have heard me talking about this with these judges and the deportation of illegals. But Trump is saying, because they blocked him, that this decision is going to let more criminals pour in. He criticized the Supreme Court for ruling that Trump administration must provide suspected Venezuelan gang members with adequate notice before being deported under the 1798 Alien Enemies Act. In a post on Truth Social, Trump criticized the 7-2 decision by the Supreme Court, noting that it would let more criminals pour into the U.S. Trump added that the decision would allow these people to commit many crimes before even see the inside of a courthouse during this long, protracted, and expensive legal process. We have been talking about that for a long time here on the LWN network, that when we've got hundreds of people to put them through the legal process, most of them will just be here living their normal lives, and some won't even live long enough to see a court date because it's just a long process and it's expensive. So the Supreme Court, he states, has ruled that the worst murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and even those who are mentally insane who came into our country illegally are not allowed to be forced out without going through a long and expensive legal process, one that's going to take many years for each person, possibly. And that will allow these people to commit many crimes before even seeing inside of the courthouse. The result of this decision will let more of them come into our country, doing great harm to our cherished American people. It will also encourage, Trump said, other criminals to illegally enter our country, wreaking havoc and bedlam wherever they go. The Supreme Court of the United States is not allowing me to do what I was elected to do. Sleepy Joe Biden allowed millions of criminal aliens to come into our country without any process. But in order to get them out of the country, we have to go through a long and extended process. Trump continued to thank Supreme Court Justices Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas, who dissented. Now, while the Supreme Court found that suspected illegal alien gang members who were facing deportation under the AEA had not received enough notice, they claim, the court did not weigh in on whether the Trump administration was allowed to deport suspected illegal alien gang members under the AEA. Under these circumstances, notice roughly 24 hours before removal, devoid of information about how to exercise due process rights to contest that removal, surely does not pass muster. The majority justices did right. The majority justices also added, to be clear, we decided today only that the detainees are entitled to more notice than was given on April 18th, and we grant temporary injunctive relief to preserve our jurisdiction while the question of what notice is due to adjudicated. The government may remove the named plaintiffs' operative class members under other lawful authorities, the majority justice has added. Trump first invoked the AEA in March to allow for the expedited removal of suspected TDA gang members. And since then, his administration has faced several legal challenges from judges attempting to block the deportation of suspected illegal alien gang members. And you guys also know there were judges that were caught housing these illegal aliens as well. So he is fighting many different things when it comes to these justices. And like I said, it's not the innocent people that he is just booting out now. They are working on, and we've been told time and time again, the ones that are causing problems, the gang members, the drug dealers, the rapists, the pedophiles. Those are the ones that these justices are fighting to keep here and say they deserve proper notice. Well, why can't it be plain and simple? Right is right, wrong is wrong. You come in here illegally, no matter who you are, you need to get out. You need to go back out. You shouldn't be coming here in the first place. There's a reason that there's a process for you to enter this country. Next up, we have Walmart is under fire for raising their prices and blaming tariffs, even though they say 70% of their products are made in America. Walmart CEO Doug McMillon came out last week and said, "We will do our best to keep our prices as low as possible. But given the magnitude of the tariffs and even the reduced levels announced this week, we are not able to absorb all the pressure given to the reality of the narrow retail margins." President Trump was not happy about that. He put this in a statement in response, and he said, "Walmart should stop trying to blame tariffs as the reason for raising prices throughout the chain. Walmart made billions of dollars last year, far more than expected. Between Walmart and China, they should, as is said, eat the tariffs and not charge value customers anything." He said, "I'll be watching, and so will your customers." And I do believe so far this year, Walmart profits are either 8 or 9% already. So they're not behind. They're not suffering. So a lot of people are saying that they're price gouging and that it's not acceptable. Some people are saying that's it. They're not going to shop at Walmart as these prices increase. So President Trump did say that they should eat the tariffs. And if it's only 25%, if 75% of their stuff is made here, that's only 25% of the tariffs. So they made billions of dollars last year. So let's see if Walmart is going to make a good decision for we, the American people, or not. Next up, we have President Trump proposes a $500 billion budget cut for the FBI. And Kash Patel and Dan Bongino did announce the FBI headquarters is going to be shut down in D.C. and they're going to destroy the building. In an interview before he became FBI director, remember Kash Patel said he's going to shut down the FBI Hoover building and one day and then reopen it the next day as a museum of the deep state. He said, "I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals." And it appears that's exactly what Kash is in the process of doing. Then let's go ahead and cover a little bit more about Comey, shall we? James Comey, was seen on video being taken and questioned by the FBI for this weekend for his post about 8647 as it made its way across the internet. Remember the seashells that Comey said he was walking along the beach and he saw these seashells and they made an 8647 shape. So Comey did take down the post, claiming he didn't know what 86 meant and admitted he thought it was something political. So he did know it was something political, but he decided to post it instead of investigate what the political statement might have meant, therein causing all this chaos. Many have called for him to be cuffed and jailed ASAP. Kash stated that there is an investigation into what Comey posted regarding his seashells. And of course, we saw him, like I said, there was video out this weekend that he was handcuffed, taken in, and questioned. Now, this is another post on X by somebody that is a podcaster. His name is Ed Krasenstein. And he said that he's the one that also, I told you last week that he posted pool balls on a pool table in the order of 8647. So he also stated in his post with those pool balls, putting out 8647, he said that James Comey is right. 8647 is the way to go and should become the new rallying call for Americans who are sick and tired of the U.S. Constitution being torn up. It should be a rallying call for Americans who are fed up with the current administration's corruption. You can tell if you go look at his X account, he's definitely not a Trump lover. Going further into the 8647 post, meaning Ed did post on his account So these are alleged posts from Matt Gaetz's Twitter that stated, "We have now 86 McCarthy, McDaniel, and McConnell." No date from the post was given. So what he's trying to do is show that other people have posted 86 and not meant it as unaliving somebody, but taking them down or taking them out of office or taking them out of the seat that they hold. He also put on a post that there's pictures from Amazon where they're selling shirts that have 8646 on them and stickers for 8646, which they have a description on the products that clearly states impeach Biden 8646. 8646 is an anti-Biden t-shirt, anti-Biden bumper stickers to remove them out of the position. So I looked at it myself on Amazon, typing in 8646 on the shirt. And actually there's a lot of shirts that come up and products that come up that say 8646, but there's also a lot of 8647 out there, a bunch of different products you can buy. But there is a difference because of Trump having assassination attempts on him and who's posting it and what the meaning is. So it can have dual meanings. That is what I discovered. But we know that Biden didn't have the assassination attempts. We know the threats and the outrage and the Democrats and the things they have said about unseating, unaliving, getting rid of Trump, inciting violence in so many ways. So really, you have to ask yourself the question, what is the context of 86, anything? I think it depends on who's typing it, what they mean behind it, and it can kind of mean different things for everyone. So I just wanted to make it clear, even though all the right is coming out saying that it was horrible, that it's talking about putting a hit on President Trump, that may very well be the intent. However, there is stuff out there that was 8646 with Biden as well, but it just meant impeach him, deceit him. So there can be a controversy and a discussion made on both sides for what that actually meant. President Trump, next up, did release a statement that Comey knew exactly what it meant, and he was letting Bondi and others taking care of it. That is what he had to say about it. And speaking on Pam Bondi, bringing her name up, she is working on allowing federal prosecutors to be able to indict members of Congress without the approval of the DOJ's public integrity section. All these Democrats committing crimes in broad daylight could be heading to jail if this does indeed succeed. So she is out there working on trying to shortcut the whole indictment of members of Congress without the approval of the DOJ's public integrity section. So she's trying to make moves on this as well. Some people are not impressed with what Bondi is doing, the work she's doing. However, the president is still saying that she's doing a good job. Cash is doing a good job. Bongino's doing a good job. And we all know with the Epstein files, that is the sore spot. But Dan Bongino, when I mentioned him and Kash Patel appearing on Sunday Futures with Maria, I'll have more on that story tomorrow. But they did say, listen, we've only been in here a few months. We've only held this position for a few months. There are 38,000 employees and people that we are going through, lies told, things that have been hidden, paperwork. Dan Bongino said, every time we come into the office, there's files on our desk. And usually if it's a file that has a number 9 on it, that means it's something pretty serious. But we are so busy digging through stuff that those files don't even reach us. We're still working on 10, which is the most troublesome, the most corrupt, the most urgent files of files. And he said, we work 10, 12 hours a day, easy, going through these files. He said, now we know people want results. We know that people want to see people in handcuffs that have committed crimes. He said, but we can do it quick. And he goes, then what will happen is they'll get through the loopholes and it'll be just like nothing before. It'll be buried. It'll be nothing will come of it. He said, because it won't be done correctly. He said, but if you want to see that and you want justice to be served, you have to be patient and realize the monumental task that we have undergone and that we are doing to make sure that we basically dot all our I's and cross all our T's to make sure anything they bring against anybody is going to stick in court. and hold a guilty verdict, because he said we have to make sure everything is covered before we present it. And he goes, believe us, justice will be served. He goes, now you don't have to trust me. I understand it. But I'm telling you, this justice will be coming. And, you know, he said that a few times. So is Cash. He said it's overwhelming, the amount, the things they found about Crossfire Hurricane. There's all kinds of stuff. And Cash was saying, I was in there at that time, and I found all kinds of stuff I didn't even know about. So they're finding all this new stuff as well. So they're basically, we're asking on the Sunday show for patience and knowing that they are doing the best they can, and people will be held accountable for the crimes that they committed against we the people. Next up, let's make sure that we keep those affected by those tornadoes that ripped through Kentucky, Missouri, and the surrounding areas this weekend in our prayers. There was some nasty, nasty weather, nasty destruction, and unfortunately, people lost their lives with these storms moving through this weekend. It was very, very bad. So let's keep them in our thoughts and prayers. And then we're going to next up cover the P. Diddy trial, the wrap up so far. So Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie recounted being beaten and pressured into degrading sexual performances with strangers. Even though she admitted being a willing participant at the start, she said that things got more violent, uncomfortable, and she didn't know how to get out of it. She was trying to please Combs, and it just got worse and worse. Combs' lawyer, Tenny Garagos, took a novel approach to defending him in her opening statement. This is what she had to say. She conceded that the hip-hop guy was a bad temper guy. He has bad tempers. He's prone to violent outbursts that are often fueled by alcohol, jealousy, and drugs. This doesn't sound like a good guy here. But she maintained that while his actions might have warranted domestic violence charges, they aren't proof he is engaged in sex trafficking and racketeering, which are the charges he faces. Garagos said and argued that Combs' sexual habits were part of a swinger lifestyle involving consenting adults, and reminded jurors that kinky sexual predilections do not equate to sex trafficking. She said Sean Combs is a complicated man, but this is not a complicated case. This case is about love, jealousy, infidelity, and money. Jurors were shown security camera footage video of Combs assaulting Cassie. We talked about this in an LA hotel in 2016. They also viewed photographs of damage in the hotel hallway, including flowers thrown across the floor, soil spattered against the wall. And later, as Cassie testified about the attack, they were shown photographs of the musician's swollen lip, her lip, that happened from Diddy, allegedly. The trial's first witness was a former security guard at the hotel. Israel Flores testified Combs attempted to bribe him, holding out a stack of money with $100 on top of it, a $100 bill, telling him, don't tell anybody. Flores said he responded, I don't want your money, just go back to your room. So Cassie has described these freak-offs in disturbing detail, which I'm not going to cover. You guys can go see that or read that. Messages between Combs and Cassie show a complicated relationship, to say the least. Singer Dawn Richard recalled Combs beating Cassie. She was a former cast member on Combs' MTV reality show Making the Band, testified that she saw Combs physically attack Cassie on multiple occasions. Now, during a 2009 incident in his home, Richard said Combs tried to strike Cassie in the head with a black skillet before he put his arm around her neck and dragged her up the stairs. Richard, who was later a member of the Combs band Diddy, Dirty Money, sued the producer last year, accusing him of physical abuse, groping, and psychological abuse during the years that they had worked together. His representative denied the claims at the time. Now, Cassie did testify for 4 days. She is now finished with her time on the stand, and she ended her time on the stand by saying this: I am glad to put this chapter of my life to rest. As I turn to focus on the conclusion of my pregnancy, I am asking for privacy for me and my growing family. So this trial is expected to last around 8 weeks. Combs has been charged with racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He has pled not guilty on all of the counts. Next up, we have President Trump plans on having a phone conversation with Putin. It might be underway now, you guys, because it was scheduled for 10 a.m. today Eastern Standard Time to get Russia and Ukraine ceasefire and war resolved. He's doing more negotiating with them. However, there was a presser with press secretary, and she was saying he was going to talk to him today. She was doing the presser at 10 o'clock, and they still weren't talking. So, but she did say that it is scheduled. It is going to happen today. So we'll definitely keep you posted on that tomorrow, whatever comes from that. And then speaking once more on Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, they did confirm they have troves of information about January 6th as well. And it is being sent to Congress. So the FBI is sending all this information that they found to Congress. That was another statement they made on the Sunday morning show with Maria. And they said the truth is going to come out. Then we have J.D. Vance and his wife went to Rome, Italy to participate in the new Pope's coronation yesterday. Secretary of State Marco Rubio went as well. The ceremony for Pope Leo XIV was held in St. Peter's Square in the Vatican. And then we have this. Bill O'Reilly was interviewing Jillian Michaels, and he tells her that Trump got everything he wanted from Panama. And he said, you're never going to hear about it from the fake news media. So Bill O'Reilly said he got everything he wanted, 100% across the board. And Jillian Michaels said, I thought we were still negotiating on Panama. And I felt the same way. I thought we were still working things out there. But O'Reilly said that he got everything there. Chinese companies are out tariffs to put our ships through. The U.S. troops are there providing security. So the tariffs are out, and then we put our ships through. He said the troops are providing security for the canal now 100%. And Jillian Michaels said, I didn't even know that. Now, I missed that as well. And he was just saying that they won't report it because it's a victory for Trump. And I'm just thinking that there's so many news stories out there, as you can tell, just today with this headline hits. I mean, you could go on for hours, but there's just, so much that a lot can get buried. There was that ship as well that ran into the Brooklyn Bridge, the Mexican training ship where the sails, the lights and the sails got knocked over. Unfortunately, some people lost their lives on that as well. So there's been just so much going on this weekend, and it continues today. And then the last little bit of information I want to let you know that this just broke. The House was able to advance forward Trump's domestic policy bill. Now, that happened late Sunday evening last night. You know that the conservatives did rebel on Friday over concerns legislation does not contain steep enough spending cuts. The opposition stopped the bill while negotiations with Republican leadership did carry through the weekend, trying to get the conservatives on board, culminating with the House Budget Committee scheduling a second vote late Sunday night last night. And it did move it one step closer to a floor vote before the lower chamber's self-imposed Memorial Day deadline. We know that they were going to have the Memorial Day deadline, which is coming fast next Monday. So they did advance it, which is good news, because it did stall on Friday with the vote. So that's the long-winded, lots of information for Monday for headline hits, you guys. And for those of you who are joining me after the beginning, LW and I will be doing a show tomorrow evening regarding all this information. And like I said, we are going to discuss it in detail. There's some crazy things when you have the president putting out the videos that he did regarding Obama and the Clintons, and, talking of this Biden video and tape and audio tape that leaked about Biden not being able to talk his way through the consultation about classified documents. I mean, it's all coming to fruition. And if you remember last week, I did post and talk about some of these Democrats. I think it was Schiff and Schumer and Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan, the rep from Michigan, governor. They all said that they never saw any decline in President Biden. When you have eyes to see and ears to hear, there definitely was a decline in that man. And these people just came out last week saying, all of a sudden, like trying to wash their hands of whatever's going to come out with Biden by saying they couldn't see the decline because they would talk to him on the phone maybe. Some said I never even got to see him in person. It didn't take that, you guys. We're not stupid. When you look at how they're trying to cover, it's pretty disturbing that these are representatives that are supposed to hold office to represent we the people. And I don't think anybody voted for them to lie about them to them about the sitting president of the United States of America. I don't think anybody's going to vote for that. So we have a lot that's going to come down the pipes. I think that with Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, they are going to things are going to blow open wide with, all this stuff that they're discovering. So hang in there. I think we got this. So that's what I have. Once again, I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Headline hits noon Eastern Standard Time. And then we also have, like I said, tomorrow evening, we will be doing a show, LW and I, to cover a lot of this stuff. And we hope to have good conversations with you guys as well. I'd love to hear your input, your thoughts, what you found out, because we do our best to cover everything. But boy, it's hard to keep up. And I'm sure there's things that we missed that you guys can bring to the table so we can have complete information and knowledge in this community, sharing the latest up-to-minute stuff that's going on in the world. So take care. God bless. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.